The immortal John Hancock here, and sometimes I come across something that I scratch my head and wonder, is there anything good on this? Recently, a buddy of mine acquired this locally, and it's the Retro FC Single. And this looks like a bizarre product. It looks like a Famicom. I'm not familiar with most of the games that are pictured on the back, and so I'm gonna check it out. Gonna unbox it. Gonna look at some of the games. So sit back, relax. Here we go. All right, so here we go. And this is the Retro FC Single. And as you can probably tell, this is a Famicom, and never seen anything like this. I've seen a couple things close to it on eBay, but not this one in particular. I had a hard time finding it too, so it's been out of print and not being offered, at least online, easily. And it does take Famicom cartridges, but man, it holds them really tight. So fair warning, I wouldn't put any rare cartridges in this thing. It's very light and takes 4 AAA batteries and has AV input. So I mean, so you plug this in to a standard CRT. This is not HDMI out or anything. So, just want to let you know that. I'm going to plug it in and try to capture footage through a RetroTink 5X. Comes with instructions. Nothing's in English. This wasn't marketed here. You're probably going to find this at your various flea marts. So there's 27 games in one. At least that's what it says. And I'm not too familiar with a lot of these games. A lot of them are bootleg games, and I went to the bootleg games wiki where you can find out more information on these games. I wanted to show the menu here in case you wanted to research individual games. This is Super Fight 1, which is essentially Contra 7, which is a bootleg version of Contra combined with a couple other games, sprites from Mighty Final Fight, and it's okay. Maybe a little bit of Russian Attack. I don't know. Like I said, these are bootleg games that people have spliced together to make their own game. Many of the games included on this are substandard or games that are just okay, mediocre at best. F-22 is kind of like a mundane shooter. I mean, some of it's cool. It's a little bit of 1942 here with some other sprites. Just okay. Wasn't too familiar with this pirated game, and just wanted to show some of the games worth mentioning. By the way, if you like this type of content, please consider hitting that like and subscribe button and clicking the bell, as I upload all different types of content. This is Convection, and this is a puzzle game. This one was okay. I'm more into these types of games lately, and so this would actually be a type of game I might go back and check out. There's just so many other better ways of retro gaming. This has probably been out on the market several years, so maybe 15 years ago, having a 27-1 Famicom that plays carts might be more appealing. But I just found the games to be on here, at least, interesting to look at maybe once, but the gameplay wasn't something that I'm going to go back and be excited to game on and play more of. And so I just wanted to show you some of the different games on here. Ghost Ship looks to me like a Battleship clone. Kind of an interesting premise. And all these games you're playing the computer because there isn't a way of playing 2-player. And so it's all single-player games. And so that is kind of a bummer with this. You can only play single-player games as it says, single on the packaging. And so I never played something like this. Robot, there was a lot of hacks and clones of this. There was 5 games that are essentially you're shooting things in the sky, and so with different sprites. I found these games to be boring and not really worth playing much at all. just back to the menu here and continue on my journey of showing you what mediocrity looks like 10 years ago, 10, 15 years ago. I don't know exactly when this came out. This is Archer. This is another game, kind of the same gameplay mechanics as like 5 or 6 games on the 27 games in one, where you're just shooting things in the air. Kind of an Astro Smash style game. I don't know, like the premise, but the gameplay just was boring and definitely not up to standards of what I've played elsewhere. There's a snake game on here. It's okay. Nothing great worth mentioning. Just wanted to show this. It's just kind of your simple snake game, and you can't touch any of the background. I don't know. You played one snake game, you've played them all. This is definitely something that could have been a lot better. I don't know the backstory of this product. There's table tennis, which is essentially Pong. One of the more interesting games on here, a single player Pong, which is not a bad idea. Just kind of boring. It would have been nice to have a power up, been able to speed the ball up, or I think a better option would be multiple different types of Pong. But you know, Nintendo's so capable, having just one version on here, kind of mundane. Bomb Time, which is like a Bomberman clone. This is actually not bad. I would probably go back and play this one. Graphics are okay. But you know what? I'd probably go play Bomberman and not Bomb Time. But you know, there was definitely games on here either taking you know, inspiration from other games that came out in Nintendo that were popular. But you know what? At least there wasn't just a bunch of ripped off games. At least they're like taking sprites, ripping off games that way, and trying to make their own games. So Monster War, there was a couple games like this where you're just kind of a weird premise. Are you like underwater and you're taking out like you know, sea creatures? Yeah, just really not what I'm going to go and play now. And part of that is, you know, I think Nintendo games have gotten a lot better with aftermarket games, and there's so much better on the market now, and so many better ways of playing retro gaming. Pinball. Now, this is probably my most hated game on here. I'm a huge video game pinball fan, and I was excited about seeing this. And look at that gameplay. Oh, man. This is horrible. The ball physics, the gameplay, not fun whatsoever. Might be my most hated version of video game pinball I've ever played. I was so disappointed with this. This is probably my most hated game on here. As I'm a big fan of video game pinball. I love everything from the Atari and television games, of video pinball even. There's some good ones on various different retro platforms. TurboGrafx comes to mind from some of my favorites. This is absolutely dreadful. Now, with that being said, there was this game called Fireman, and I really enjoyed this game. It is over way too soon though. I don't think there's many stages, if at all any stages, other than the first one. This was probably my most favorite game that I played, because I like these simple types of games like this. It had some cool power-ups and stuff, and I wish there was more stages though, because essentially I cleared this, and then I watched like an intermission, and then it kicked me back to the title screen. So I don't know if I hit something. I don't know how many stages of this game, if there's other versions of it. In the comments, let me know if you played anything like this, because, you know, for me, this was new to me. And probably of everything on here, this was my favorite of kind of the mediocre games. Now, I did have some multi-carts and some Famicom cartridges. I wanted to test some of my games to see what was compatible and what was not. So here we go. Let's jump into this. And right off the get-go, my Mario Brothers didn't play. I was super bummed about that. My Mappy did though. Happy about that. Happy that that played, and that was cool to see. My Argus cart, which was like brand new, didn't work. I tested these in the AVS and they worked fine. I had a Power Joy multi-cart, that didn't work. But my Super Exevious worked, as well as my Gradius 2. So it played about half of my Famicom cartridges, overall disappointed. You know what? Retros came a long way. And you know what? This device seems to be several years old. And I think we've evolved from this, where I think retro gaming has gotten better. There's more hardware available to play retro games. And, you know, while it's cool that this does play some Famicom cartridges, it doesn't do a great job, and the games on it aren't great at all. There's a few interesting games that I saw on it, but overall, if you're curious on what this included, well, now you know. Anyways, thank you so much. Enjoyed covering this product, and want to thank everybody for viewing this video. I've done several other videos, and if you like what you see, please consider hitting that like and subscribe button. Clicking the bell as I'm uploading videos every week. You folks are wonderful and beautiful. Let's keep it positive. This is the immortal John Hancock, and you take care.